to prepare him for the time when, at the age of 14, he would be his co-ruler. Sometimes I would go too, so that I also might learn of his justice. Ptah, who was one of the chief officials of the royal household, sat on the left side of the hall of audience, between the throne of Pharaoh and the table of the scribes. Being a seer priest of the highest grade of initiation, he wore the double scarlet feather, which were the feathers of Ma'at, goddess of truth, meaning that from his body he could see two truths, the truth of earth and the truth of the spirit. Sometimes in his judgment my father would use Shamba, his lioness, in what he used to call the ordeal by lion. He would tell a man whose heart he was weighing to walk up the room and put his hand in Shamba's mouth. And he would tell him that, if he were pure in heart, the lioness would mouth him gently, but that, if he were guilty, then she would crush his arm to pulp. If the man were innocent, he would approach Shamba, and her teeth would be so gentle that they would not even have marked the feathers of a bird. And the innocent man would depart with yet another story to tell of the wisdom of Pharaoh, saying that it was so great that even the lioness at his feet was bathed in his glory, and he could weigh hearts as wisely as Tahuti. But if the man were guilty, before he reached Shamba, my father would raise the flail and pronounce judgment upon him. Nea and I would keep our faces as calm as statues, although we knew that when father had told Shamba to be at peace, if Set walked on earth, she would have been gentle with him, and when he had told her to attack, she would have torn out the throat of the great Ptah himself. Once father said to us, wise rulers know that many of their people are but children, although they may have the bodies of men, so he treats them as children in ways that are within their understanding, so that they are obedient and content. I asked him how he was always sure when a man had nothing to fear from Shamba. And he told me that Ptah watched the man as he walked up the room, and if he were afraid, then Ptah moved the ring on his finger. But my father said if he wanted to know why he moved the ring, we had better ask him ourselves. And Ptah told us, with our earth eyes we cannot see patience or anger or jealousy or greed. We can only see the reactions of them. But if I look at a man with the eyes of my spirit, I can see his thoughts. Perhaps I should say his emotions as a colour, and the darker the colour, the more clouded he is by earth, and the paler the colour, the nearer he is to the source of light, to which one day we must all attain. Jealousy and greed I see as dull, dark green, but true sympathy, which is compassion, is the pale green of the sky before dawn. Wisdom is a pale, clear yellow like sunshine on a white wall. Deceit and lust for riches are clay-coloured, like the mud from which bricks are baked. And in the same way, every kind of emotion has its special shade, and those that are most often experienced determine the colour of the light that shines from each one of us. But fear clouds the colours with a dirty grey, like oily smoke, and fierce impatience flecks them with a red, like little drops of blood. There are many other signs like these by which I can judge a man, and if one walks towards Shamba with no hidden fear, then do I know that he has spoken truth. I said, but suppose the man was very silly and didn't like lions, the same as I don't like even very small and harmless snakes. None who are not men of evil fear the justice of Pharaoh, for they know that his flail is but to protect them, and the lion at his feet is part of his justice. He that would fear Pharaoh or Shamba must fear his own heart. Well, suppose he was a guilty man, but he was very fond of lions, as am I, and he had one, like Nutty. Then he wouldn't be frightened of other people's tame lions. There are other ways by which I could tell a man guilty, if a man is guilty. Say, for instance, that two men disputed about a piece of land. If the colour of one man was heavy with greed, and the other had the turquoise blue of the poet or sculptor, and so much of it that I knew he thought too little of riches, and might let his children go hungry and his wife patch her only tunic, while he pondered on the small embellishments of earth, then I would know that if he claimed the land, it was because it was rightfully his and not the greed of possessions. But it is seldom that your father needs my sight, for of his wisdom and understanding he can read the hearts of men, and though he sees not the colour of their thoughts, to him their characters are as clear as though he saw them written on a scroll. Long ago, when this earth was new, a wise man said, "Let thy light shine. Let thy light so shine forth that whosoever thou goest, even if it be to the caverns of the underworld, those who are with thee shall fear no darkness, for thou shalt light them upon their journey." And this light, he talked of it, is the self-same light that shines from all of us, of which I have told you. When our feet have reached the end of our earth journey, then will the colours of earth have been transmuted into the whiteness of pure light. But in this whiteness is all pure colour, and in it there are the colours of the three wards of earth, the pale, clear yellow of wisdom, which is all experience, the green gentle of compassion, which is perfect understanding, the true scarlet of the warriors of Ma'at, which is the courage that is beyond fear. So that was the end of chapter 7. The chapter 8 is entitled The Legend of Creation. Have a lovely Friday. Bye.